Hi, Dr. Huntington here. In this video, I'm going to show you how to find gluten on labels and probably identify where it's hiding in your diet as well. But first, a 20-second review just to catch you up in case you're not familiar with the basics of gluten. Gluten is a protein that's found in some grains, in particular wheat, rye, and barley. But those are not the only three, as it's in many other grains as well. Those are just the most common, popular ones in the US. Because gluten is sticky, it's added to many personal care products, such as makeup, soap, shampoo, hair styling goop, and toothpaste. So you have to look for it on the personal care labels if you hope to avoid it completely. Some people are sensitive to gluten, and others can actually be sensitive not just to the gluten, but also to the sugars in the grains. And these sensitivities can cause symptoms such as bloating, gas, like stomach upset, headaches or brain fog, diarrhea, cramping, fatigue, skin problems, joint pain, even neurological problems such as ADHD symptoms or depression. And even in the absence of symptoms, gluten can cause problems by irritating the lining of your gut. So your best bet is to eliminate all gluten from your diet. There's no reason to consume it from a nutritional standpoint, or to rub it on your skin or to brush your teeth with it. Okay, so where do you find gluten and how do you avoid it? First, avoid the gluten-containing grains. Let's take a look up here. So I've got them listed here on the left side. Wheat, triticale, triticum, rye and sea-kale, barley and beta-glucan, spelt, kamut, farro, durum, bulgur, semolina, einkorn, farina, and emmer. That's a pretty comprehensive list. So all of those guys, all of those grains have gluten in them. What I've listed here in the middle are just some other terms where when you read a label, often it won't say one of these grains because those grains might not be in the product, and it won't say gluten, but it'll say one of these, and these often contain gluten. Brewer's yeast, malt, and that there'll be many different types of malt, right? But just about all of them contain gluten. Hydrolyzed or textured vegetable protein, wheat berries, gram, and oats. Now oats is an interesting one. I've got an asterisk here, and you'll notice it's also listed here under the gluten-free grains. It's an interesting one because oats naturally doesn't have gluten. The problem is that it's very common for oats to be cross-contaminated with gluten, meaning that it's been produced or stored or grown next to gluten products. All right, so now that the gluten-free grains that I've listed up here on the board, they probably seem like a good choice, an obvious choice, since you're not going to want to eat the gluten grains if you're going to be gluten-free. But there's a few things that you should know and need to consider before deciding to include these guys in your diet. As I just mentioned before with oats, if these grains are grown or processed near gluten grains, it's possible that the gluten-free grains are going to be contaminated. There was actually a study published in the Journal of the American Dietetic Association that found that out of 22 gluten-free grain samples, 7 of them actually contain notable amounts of gluten. The other issue with eating grains, even these gluten-free grains, is that grains cause your blood sugar to spike, much more than eating fat or protein or vegetables. And that rise in blood sugar is followed by a rise in blood insulin levels, which causes a whole cascade of problems over the long term. And that cascade leads to inflammation and insulin sensitivity problems, and right into all the chronic diseases that most people, unfortunately, are going to get, despite the fact that everyone would like to avoid them. Those chronic diseases are mostly due to diet, with the biggest problems being sugar and grain consumption. So you certainly should eliminate gluten from your diet. There's just no reason to eat it from a nutritional standpoint. And if you really want to supercharge your health, get rid of the sugar and the grains. Fill your plate with healthy fats and vegetables and a moderate amount of protein. Have low glycemic fruit as an occasional snack. Now do that for 3 weeks and see how you feel. Do it for 3 months and you'll see more positive changes than you probably think are possible right now. Do it for a lifetime, and you'll gain quality years with which you can enjoy life with a body that feels better and functions better. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.